What's up, guys? Jesse here, and I welcome you to some deep knowledge shit. The lesson will be about money, because there is a lot of misinterpretation about it out there. Everybody wants it. A few have it, and even less have a clue about it. But this is exactly the problem, because picture it like this. If you have no clue about the single ingredients, would you expect to be able to cook a 5-star deluxe meal? I mean, you just could mix up the ingredients hoping for the best outcome, and a few people might even be lucky doing so, but most of you will end up with some gross stuff you should be sent to prison for. It is the same case when it comes to financial success. A lot of people want to create it for themselves, but they don't know shit about its main ingredient, money. That is why we will speak today about what money actually is, why it even exists, what use it has, and what kind of assets can be called quote-unquote money, here on ClueTube. Alright guys, let's get started with the first question. What the heck is money? You can define money about its core functions, because money is what money does. And there are 3 different things that money does. Numero uno, money as a unit of account. As long as we can trace back humankind, they used to trade some stuff for some other stuff, but by doing so, you must set a value to every single item you want to trade with. Now, imagine, there exists nothing like money. I have this beautiful and unique corn, and you sell stupid t-shirts. So, we have to calculate how much corn is worth one t-shirt. Easy, done. Then comes a third party selling drums. Now we have to calculate how much corn and how much t-shirts are worth a drum, and the opposite around. Okay, manageable. Then again, someone joins the party selling golf carts. Now we need to know how much corn, t-shirts, or drums are worth one golf cart, and of course, the opposite around. We are still okay, but you already recognize that this can get really annoying, and there are billions of different goods out there, and all of them will have billions of different prices. You can imagine that we will easily reach a point where this system is highly inefficient. That is why we need a universal unit of account. That means only one price for one good. And that leads us to function number 2, money as a method of payment and trading. Why do we have such a big need for a universal currency? Let me explain it with a situation called coincidence of wants. Let's assume that I have a lot of corn and you have a lot of t-shirts. If I want a t-shirt and you want my corn, we can trade. Nice, isn't it? But after a while of trading, your ugly t-shirts will be all over my place and I won't have any use for anymore. But you are still hungry for my corn, and here comes a big problem in place, because I won't trade my delicious corn against your stupid t-shirts anymore. Man, now you got a problem, because your t-shirts taste like they look. Pretty shitty, but you have nothing else to offer me for my sweet and golden corn with this little unicorn. Isn't it beautiful? Now, what to do? You could take your t-shirts and try to trade them with some naked or blind people who are willing to give you other goods in exchange, so you can offer me these new goods in exchange for this marvelous corn I grow out of pure love. That means a lot of effort for you, and you never know if I will accept your offers or not. Kind of annoying, isn't it? What we need is to find a third universal good that everyone would be willing to trade for everything at every time. Let me introduce you to money. Function number 3, money as a store of value. So, here is another problem. I already recognize that my awesome corn is a bestseller, because everyone wants it. That means for me that I can trade it against everything I want. But like always in life, there is a catch. My harvest is just once a year, and I can't store my corn forever because it will start to taste like old feed at one point. It will be rotten and worth nothing. So, my corn, even being most wanted, is not suitable as a universal good you can trade with at every time like we discussed here. That is why a currency needs to be a store of value. Reasonable, isn't it? That is why money needs to be a unit of account, a method of payment, and a store of value. Okay guys, we clarified what money is, why it exists, and which use it has. But what kind of assets can be used as money? Actually, people used all kinds of stuff as money, like stones, shells, cattle, and jailbirds use cigarettes even today. All these different types of money have in common that their value is in the commodities themselves. That is why this form of money is called commodity money, and it makes sense because we feel like they have an intrinsic value for its scarcity. So, why did we end up with cash of mainly worthless paper? The reason is that commodity money has its weaknesses. For example, if there is a major supplier of a specific commodity money, like South Africa used to be for gold, which is China and Australia today, or even companies like De Beers used to be for diamonds, they have a huge impact on its scarcity, and by that on its intrinsic value. This means by holding back their supplies or pushing them all in the market at once, they can have a great impact on prices, and by that on the economy of other countries. But moreover, commodity money has its limits. For one, it is usually very impractical to carry around because it is heavy and needs a lot of space. Second, if you get to huge economies, the very scarcity that makes commodity money to what it is becomes its greatest drawback. If the economy grows, we need also a bigger amount of money. Nevertheless, it was a long and hard process to introduce paper money to the people, but this is another story. If you want to hear more about it, leave me a message, but for now, we accept the fact that it did happen and for good reasons. Today's currencies contain all the needed qualities we discussed here. Nevertheless, you can see that the form of money is an ongoing process. That is why the way we used to pay is changing all the time. The thing is, you have to be aware of the fact that money is defined by its use. Why do I stress this fact? Because most people want a lot of money, and they tried to take this as a motivation to become rich or financial independent. Most people fail at this task because of a lack of constant motivation. The thing is that it is more likely for you to reach your goals if you define them in detail. Money is just a tool. It is nothing but what we make out of it. So, for your journey to success, define what you want from life and be as specific as possible. You are not rich if you have $1 million, but for what you really desire, you need $20 million. You are not poor if you have just $100, but what you need is $1 to get what you deeply desire. I hope you guys get the quintessence of this lesson. Be smart, and sign up for this channel to be ahead of the pack. See you guys around on ClueTube.